Yan, so let's start. Good evening, everyone. My name is Janelle. Pero if gusto niyo mag-feeling close, you can call me Ja by my close friends. So welcome to the third installment of our ongoing series, The Art of Financial Freedom. Just a quick recap lang. Yung first session was about mindset and definition of financial freedom by Mr. Stanley Cheng, while the second session was all about savings and budgeting by Mr. Justin Uy. So if you missed it or want to revisit, the recorded live version of both sessions are available on our YouTube and Facebook channel. Yan. You can see it on our screen for your reference. Furthermore, the first session have podcast version that can be accessible on 412 Youth's Spotify account. Yan. Yan, here. You can see it on the share screen. Yan po yun sa 412 abode. Yan. So on that note, this one will also be uploaded on the mentioned platforms and we are currently live. So again, if you have friends or family or loved ones na gusto pang humabol, feel free to share the link na will be posted here on the Zoom chat. Yes. Baka may mga barkada pa kayong gustong makinig about debit and credit card. Yan. So, by the way pala guys, we have a Q&A after the session. So, while the talk, you can key in your questions via Zoom chat. But if you also want to stay anonymous, pwede rin sa Google form na ipopost namin dito sa chat box. Yan. So, yung una is YouTube link. Yan. You can feel free to share this one. And then, for the Q&A, popost din namin yung Google form if hindi kayo comfortable to throw in your questions dito sa Zoom chat. But pwede rin naman dito sa Zoom chat if gusto niyo din naman. Yan, Q&A. Okay. So to proceed with the succeeding sessions of the series, tonight we will hear more about debit and credit card management from Mr. Stephen Yan and Ms. Jam Guban. Mr. Stephen Yan is a civil engineer by profession and have master's degree in business administration. He is presently based in Singapore as a project engineer working on private infrastructure projects. He is also a money market investor and a farm owner. Meanwhile, si Ms. Jam Guban is a graduate of business administration, major in financial management. She is a finance consultant and entrepreneur for 7 years. Her businesses are Awesome Blossoms PH, mga nagbebenta po ng mga flower bouquet, Hygiene Plus Alcohols. She sells alcohols by the shop, JG Online PH, and Lions Pride Security Agency. She also have rental services for commercial spaces. So, yeah, without further ado, let me give now the floor to Mr. Stephen and Miss Jam.
Thank you, Janelle. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the Nest family for having me and Aya Stephen tonight for our third series. Yan. Hi, Aya Stephen. Ay, sayang hindi nag-match yung aming colors.
Ay, pinag-usapan ba yan?
Hindi na namin napag-usapan. Busy si Aya.
Okay.
Alright. Just kidding. Sige, let me just share my screen so we can start our third series. I just want to thank you guys for coming in tonight for our third series, and thank you Nest family for having me and Aya Stephen, of course. So as Janelle said earlier, this is the third series of the Art of Financial Freedom, which is the debt and credit card management. So ayan, ano kami, half ni Aya, so later on. Before we officially proceed, I just have one question, no? What's the first thing that comes into your mind when you hear the word debt or credit card? Hindi po debt ha. Pag nagkamali po ako ng sinasabi, utang na lang para Tagalog. Again, what's the first thing that comes into your mind when you hear these words? Baka pwede nating i-comment sa chat or we can unmute also our mics.
Housing loan daw, as per Blaze Morales.
Yan.
Rich.
Grabe naman yung rich. Housing loans. What else? What's the first thing that comes into your mind when you hear these two words? Sabi ni Hayastan and Achi, liability.
Liability. Ako Mastercard and Visa.
Ayun, kasi nasa
Oo.
picture. Tama wala namang mali or tama sa mga sinabi natin na talagang perfect score, 'no? But these are just the words that naiisip natin when we hear this too. So the next question of the PPT is, how is your debt? Kamusta nga ba ang ating utang, 'no? Sana naman hindi pa tayo ganito. Sabi nung picture, hinahabol na siya ng mga utang. But we have this kind of experiences also. Kung hindi man kayo yon or kayo man yon, I think this is the best time to hear about how you can manage your debt or yung mga utang nga. And of course, how can you also manage your credit cards, because we'll be talking about it. In the meantime, yung tanong ko muna na, how is your debt? Pag-isipan natin, kamusta na nga ba? Kasi sometimes, most of yung mga Pinoy din minsan hindi napapag-usapan or nahihiyang mapag-usapan yung utang, because of sometimes ang unang iniisip is baka mapahiya, baka isipin maraming utang. But I think this is something that's healthy for everyone to talk about, kasi mas marami tayong natututunan when it comes to managing our debts. Kasi minsan pag wala tayong alam, sige, utang, 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 tapos hanggang sa lumaki na yung utang natin, hindi natin na-express yung we wanted na pala yung help, no? To manage our debts. And if wala ka namang utang, you can also share your experience kung paano mo siya nagagawang yung 100% kaya mo siyang bayaran agad, ganyan. So it's a healthy discussion. So we're very grateful that we can talk about this. All right. So ang tanong is, having a debt bad? Puro ma-question ang ating series tonight. Is having sabi ni Pastor Sherwin, kawawa naman si American Express and si JCB nakalimutan. Mga international credit cards ata yun. But yes, syempre lahat naman kasama for our discussion tonight. Ayan. So, is having a debt bad? That's one question. Now, the Bible does not say that debt is bad, but the Bible did say that we should pay our debts without delay. 'Di ba kasi minsan pag nanghihiram tayo ng pera, okay na 'yon. Hindi ko na babayaran kasi from relatives naman, from our family naman, 'di ba? Or kaya okay lang 'yan, i-delay na natin, mayaman naman si ganito. Yung nagpapa-lend sa atin, since ang tingin natin marami siyang pera, hindi na tayo magbabayad. Or in the future na tayo magbabayad kasi wala pa tayong pera. We can find in Ecclesiastes 5:4, when you make a vow to God, do not delay in fulfilling it. He has no pleasure in fools. Fulfill your vow. So sinasabi nga sa Bible, no, sana we fulfill our vows, lalo na sa ating mga creditors, because when we needed the money, nandun sila for us, 'di ba? And hindi pag-uusapan natin kung bakit hindi masama naman yung manghiram or mag-borrow ng money. Ang masama po pag we over abuse that kind of parang addicted na tayo to borrow money without even paying it. So, yeah. We have the two debt classification. Kaya pag-uusapan natin din later on, no, kung paano rin natin ma-manage yung good debt versus bad debt. But for now, let's identify and define good debt and bad debt. So good debt is defined as money owed for things that can help build wealth or increase income over time, such as home loan or a business loan. This loan will eventually get your money back with profit. Ibig sabihin, may bumabalik sa yung pera, may additional income. Like for example, when you get a business loan, mag-i-expand ka ng business. So meron kang pambili ng other products, meron kang pambenta na mas lalo kang kikita. So nagbabalik siya sa'yo ng profit. While bad debt refers to things like credit cards. So ito na, yung credit cards nasa bad debt talaga, no? Okay, so it refers to things like credit cards, auto loan, or other consumer debt that do little to improve your financial outcome. Meaning, wala siyang nagagawa, hindi siya asset. Talagang ayun lang, binili mo lang tapos I mean inutang mo lang, hanggang dun lang siya, wala siyang naibabalik sa'yo na profit. So in this next presentation, this is a visual of the difference between the good debt and bad debt, which we found in bedelfinancial.com blog. So sabi dito, good debt typically has a lower interest rate, something you believe will grow in value over time, like house, business, education. It also helps, in increasing yung credit history and is within your budget. While bad debt is typically higher interest debt, not backed by a value increasing asset like yung mga car loans, ganyan. And of course, it's unplanned within your budget and can negatively impact your credit score. So as you can see, andyan yung mga visual examples ng good debt and bad debt. So since we already identified good debt and bad debt, later on, we're going to talk about how we can manage these good debts and these bad debts. But for now, let's go to credit card management since nag-fall siya under bad debt, no? So paano nga ba natin mamamanage ang ating mga credit cards? If you are already a user or even if you're just a beginner pa lang, I think you can expect to see some tips kung paano pa natin mas maiingatan or how can we be really financially responsible when we use our credit cards. So the question again, sabi ko nga kanina, we have maraming questions para mapag-isip natin, is having a credit card good or bad? Baka merong pwedeng sumagot sa ating chat box. Sa palagay niyo po, is having a credit card good or bad?
It's not bad.
Okay, si Achi. Hello, Achi. Good evening.
Hello.
Sabi ni Achi, it's not bad. How about the others? It's super bad. Joke lang. Yung iba kaya, what do you think? Sabi ni Achi Pia, not bad, basta responsible ka. Wow. Alright, that's great to hear. How about si Janelle? Mukhang may sasabihin si Janelle.
Ako not bad, basta don't overuse the credit card to the point na hindi ka na nagbabayad ng utang.
Yes, that's true. Si Aya Stan and Achi Tahira, sabi nila neutral. And si Aya Erwin, good for emergency. Tempting if sa
If sa
shopping. Yung sabi niya kanina, mapapagastos daw siya, no? After this. And, okay, si Blaze naman sabi niya, good for convenience. Sila Aya, good for points. That's all correct naman, guys. So, for me and Aya Stephen, having a credit card is both good and bad. Why? So, a credit card is good if you utilize it diligently. Sabi nga yung paggamit mo, no? Parang sabi ni Pia nga, if responsible ka sa paggamit, if how you use it. Second, syempre secured mode of payment siya. So it is good. Hindi siya yung kapag kunyari, for cash kasi pag nawala na, wala na yan agad. Pag nanakaw na, wala na. Pero yung sa credit card, pagka kunyari bigla mo lang nalimutan or nawala, pwede mong ipa-deactivate agad sa bank mo, no? So also, it builds credit track record. So yun din yung isang maganda or advantage ng credit card. Next, it provides emergency spending power that we all need. For example, for hospital bills, kailangan siya. May sumagot nga kanina sa chat box, no, for emergency, mabilis siyang magamit. Also, it is good because you have the opportunity for mga installment promotions. For example, newlyweds kayo, you want to buy something na medyo mahal na appliances, you can vouch for that installment promotions para hindi naman ganun kalaki yung babayaran mo na one-time payment lang. So it's also good because you have membership perks and rewards. Sabi nga ni Aya Stan kanina, good for points siya kasi nagagamit mo siya for discounts, for gas, for hotels, or even in restaurants. Now, it also provides billing statements for tracking expenses. Maganda yon kasi makikita mo kung ano yung mga expenses mo na nakalagay sa credit card. So, you can just check it there, and kung meron kang, for example, sobra na pala yung gastos mo in that particular expense, pwede mo siyang matrack doon sa credit card statements mo. And it's also good because meron na tayong mga online statements for our credit cards. Pero meron pa rin namang mga hard copies. And last but not the least, of course, yung pinaka-importante, it's convenience. Kasi madali nga siyang gamitin, madali siyang dalhin, and basta may credit limit ka pa, ang bilis lang mag-swipe. But syempre, meron ding disadvantages or ano yung bad side ng credit card. So the credit card is bad if you give in temptation to spend. Sabi nga ni Aya Erwin ata yun. Yung temptation to spend talaga even if once mo lang yon minsan, sige, lalo pag impulsive buyer ka. Sinong mga impulsive buyer? Wag na po kayong mag-credit card. Joke lang. Pero, even if you're an impulsive buyer, sana you have that discipline and always be financially responsible. Ilang beses kong pinapaulit-ulit, you always have to be financially responsible when it comes to your credit card. Kasi yung temptation talaga to spend laging nandyan. For me, if ever, sana you can pray about it. And yun nga, pag-isipan mong mabuti. If, Lord, kaya ko ba talaga tong bilhin or kaya ba to ng budget ko, ganyan. And also, it is bad if you use it for cash advances where interest is much higher. So, kung nagamit nyo na to before or gusto nyong gamitin for cash advances, wag na. Kasi ang taas talaga ng interest rate for the cash advances using your credit card. Next, if you pay the minimum amount only, minimum amount, 'di ba? Pag minimum amount lang, mas tataas yung sa next billing statement mo, higher interest rates, higher fees, may mga charges pa kapag mga exceed ka na ng credit limit. So, it's really bad if ganun na yung gamit mo. And of course, syempre, if you have multiple credit cards, yun yung pinaka-bad when you have multiple credit cards kasi for example, your income is 50,000 lang, pero yung cards mo multiple na, so parang yung credit limit mo, sabihin natin 150,000. So much more pa yung nagagamit mo, 'di ba? Than your income. Instead na dapat mas lower lang yung paggamit mo ng credit card mo kasi 50,000 lang yung income mo, right? So it's really bad if you have multiple credit cards. So if you have multiple credit cards now, later on makikita natin kung paano mo ba dapat i-manage yun, no? Paunti-unti dapat tanggalin na natin yun or mag-deactivate man lang tayo ng ilan. And of course, pag meron kang irresponsible supplementary card holder, pag meron po kayong supplementary card holder na hindi marunong magbayad, ipa-deactivate niya na rin. Kausapin niyo na lang din, no, para walang hard feelings. Minsan, sila pa yung galit, pero hindi sila nakakapagbayad sa inyo na principal card holder. Ayan, merong nagsabi si Achipia, whoops. So baka may kilala siya na supplementary, pwede na nating cross out munang supplementary kasi baka pa-swipe lang siya ng pa-swipe. And of course, medyo bad din if you pay the annual fees kasi marami na bank na nag-aalok ng credit card without annual fees. So if you can have it waived, mas maganda. Para syempre, no other charges ka pa sa yung credit card. So that's the pros and cons of the credit card, no? So, marami namang sumagot kanina na depende talaga how you will use it. So, another question, is a credit card more beneficial than paying cash? Ano kayang sagot ng ating mga nakikinig kung gising pa? Is it really more beneficial than paying cash? Tingnan natin kung meron pang sasagot. Yes, 4 points, sabi ni Aya Blaze. How about the others? It is more beneficial ba kaya? Para sa inyo, more beneficial ba yung credit card? Yes, sabi ni Achikat. Okay. Aya Erwin, if on time magbayad, beneficial. True, kasi it's really stressful. Hindi na siya beneficial. Ang benefit sa'yo yung stress. If you don't pay, di ba, the total amount and if you don't pay on time. Yun, maraming nagsabi ng yes. Sabi ni Aya Michael, ingat sa hacker. True. Yes, okay, but depends. Si Jamie, if credit card ng boyfriend beneficial, sana all. Diba? Naniniwala ba kayo doon sa ating mga may boyfriend at may asawa na? Ayan. Nako, nalungkot si Aya Erwin. Sabi ni Pia, sugar daddy na daw. Nako, yun lang. Thank you guys for sharing your thoughts if it is more beneficial. So for both I and Stephen and I, we found paying in via credit card is more beneficial syempre. Kasi ano nga ba yung mga benefits niya? Kanina na pag-usapan natin pag emergency. For example, emergency, kailangan mo na magbayad ng tuition ng anak mo, magagamit mo siya if tumatanggap ng credit card yung facility, no? And emergency in hospital, wala kang dalang cash, kailangan mong dalhin sa ospital yung loved ones mo, pwede kang gumamit ng credit card. At ito kasi need naman. So talagang yung benefits niya magagamit mo when you travel abroad, yan ang benefits din niya. And also yung mga travel discounts if kayo mahilig mag-book ng flight, 'di ba? Pag may points, you can use it for flying, and also yung mga discounts lang din sa restaurants. Nakaka-benefit tayo doon. For example, 20% off sa ganitong time, sa ganitong restaurants. Tapos kapag naman sa mga hotels, 'di ba, accommodations and all, nai-use talaga natin yung credit card. So ano tayo, nadagdagan yung knowledge natin for tonight. Okay. All right. So now naman, let's talk about how we can use our credit cards. Para yun nga, since beneficial siya, ano dapat yung proper mindset natin in using one? So if ever you want to have one pa lang, nagsisimula ka pa lang, or even na ngayon na meron ka ng credit card, ano ba yung some tips na dapat um, ginagamit natin in using our credit cards? So syempre, initially, we have to always read the terms and conditions carefully of a credit card. Why? Because there are different terms and conditions since different banks yung nag-o-offer ng credit card. And also, if you want to get one, you have to check if which credit card really suits you. Yung for example, you like going to hotels and to travel, merong mga credit card na ganun yung benefit niya. Meron din naman sa mga gas, 'di ba? Kung yung car mo talagang lagi kang nagpapagas, ganyan, may mga discounts. And also, you have to read the terms and conditions kasi minsan iba-iba rin yung fees and rates, of course, ng mga banks. And of course, second, you have to think twice before you use your card and spend only what you can afford to pay off monthly. So syempre, you think twice, or for example, for me siguro mga 2 to 3 days before ko i-purchase. Kasi ngayon ang bilis na, no? Ang bilis na sa Lazada, sa Shopee, ganyan. So pag-isipan pa rin talaga before you swipe that credit card. And of course, spend only what you can afford to pay off monthly. Hindi katulad nung pag meron ka ngang multiple cards, 'di ba? Ang income mo ganito lang, pero yung cards mo ganito, and ganun din yung swipe mo, mahirap 'yon. Sabi nga, never spend your money before you have it. So dapat nandiyan na alam mong may pambayad ka. And of course, third, pay your credit card monthly bills on time and in full. Ito yung paulit-ulit na laging nire-remind sa atin ng ating parents, ng ating co-workers, or ng ating partners. You have to pay your bills on time and in full. And of course, you have to monitor your credit card transactions. Sabi nga kanina ni Hayay, dapat laging tingnan natin, no, yung mga ganong transactions minsan kasi hindi natin alam. I've experienced that before na may nagtatransact gamit yung card ko na parang nakopya na pala nila, 'di ba? So we need to monitor that. So buti na lang ngayon meron ng mga banks na they would send you a text message if yun nga nag-swipe ka or you transacted something. And of course, you have to make sure that your account is in good standing. Since yung credit card po, one of the basis of the banks, based on my experience, one of the basis of the banks, kapag, for example, maglo-loan ka, ganyan, titingnan nila if you have a good standing with your credit card, okay ka magbayad, in time ka magbayad, 'di ba? And nire-renew nila yung card mo, or minsan mas tinataasan pa nila yung limit mo if you are in a good standing. Next is you take advantage, of course, of your rewards, promos, and discounts. Syempre, hindi lang yung nakikigamit ka ng pera ng credit card from the bank. But you also have to, sabi nga, mindset, di ba? Take advantage of its rewards, promos, and discounts. And if you can, have your annual fee waived. Marami namang banks na nag-a-accept nito, and some would just tell you kung ano yung dapat mong i-purchase just to have your annual fee waived. So kung talaga namang ginagamit mo yung credit cards mo for groceries, tapos mapupuno yung sinasabi nilang amount, at least nawi-waive yung annual fee mo. So avoiding yung another payment pa for the credit card. All right? So, and also, yun nga, we have to take care and be responsible also for our credit card. So ngayon marami na kasing nangyayaring ganito, no? So we have to protect our cards against theft and fraud. For example, merong mga identity theft, yung mga kumukuha ng details natin to use, and yung skimming naman yung kinokopya yung credit card. So parang ito ata yung na-experience ko before, binibigay sa gas station. So minsan ang tagal nila ibalik, yung pala nakopya na yung yung card number mo, yung CVV. So if you can, merong mga nabibili po na parang sticker na pangtakip dun sa CVV just to protect the credit card. Kasi yun yung pang yun yung pang last pang purchase mo talaga, hinahanap yung CVV. So if you can do DIY, then pwede mo siyang takpan, or yun nga, you can buy those stickers online. And also yung phishing, ito naman yung viral lately na ang daming nag-i-email sa'yo, kunyari yung bank mo, and then pupunta ka dun sa website, tapos itatype mo yung mga details ng cards mo. So you always have to check the URL before you put in your details or fill in your details. So that's it, the proper mindset of using a credit card. So yan, owning a credit card, of course, empower us as consumers, no? It makes both in-person and online transactions not only convenient but also rewarding. However, a credit card doesn't make you rich or financially powerful. Lagi natin tong nire-remind sa karamihan na once you have a credit card, hindi yun para pangyaman, no? You just borrow money for that, and it won't make you financially powerful. So this discussion essentially falls under the two tenets, yung lagi natin dapat tatandaan. First, we always have to live below our means, and of course, second, to spend wisely. Yan. So lang yan, two reminders for our credit card management topic. And that's it for the first part. And I'm happy to introduce once again Aya Stephen for the second part of our discussion for debt management.
So as mentioned by Jam, so we have to spend wisely, or actually diligently and consciously, because marami din kasing mga tao na parang walang konsensya kung gumastos. So pagka wala kang konsensya gumastos, sigurado mababangon ka sa utang. So once mabangon ka sa utang, kailangan mo na ngayon mag-employ o gumamit ng debt management para mabawasan or mabawasan o ma-eradicate yung utang. So ang debt management is basically ang main focus niya, main function niya is to get you out of debt and to monitor and to make your payment good. So actually ang basic principle ng debt to limit yung yung utang nyo, or mabawasan yung pagkakabaon sa utang. So paano nga ba magkalaman kung nababaon ka na sa utang o hindi? So dito papasok na yung debt to income ratio. Paano ba kinocompute ang debt to income ratio? Malalaman mo kung ikaw ay nababaon na sa utang kung ang debt to income ratio mo is above 20%. Meron tayong example dito. Kung ang income mo is 50,000 and your loans or debts is equivalent to 23,000. So i-divide mo lang yung 23,000 by your monthly for your income. Itong monthly income yung hindi siya dapat net income siya, hindi siya gross. Kasi para malaman mo talaga yung actual na ratio mo. So once na divide mo na siya, lalabas diyan yung ratio mo. So sa example na to, ang income ratio mo is 46%, which is more than 20% na from your income. Ibig sabihin, hindi na siya sustainable. So anything more than 20% is not sustainable, and anything less than 20% is still sustainable and manageable. So ano ba ang benefits ng debt management? So one of the few benefits of this debt management is to prevent unmanageable debt that can overwhelm you as the time progresses. Kung marami ka ng nagkakautangan, ibig sabihin nito yung nabubuhay ka na lang parang magbayad na lang ng utang, which is hindi siya sustainable at hindi ka magiging masaya sa buhay mo. Isa pang benefits niya is yung provide direction and strategy. So once na meron ka kasing debt management, ang pinaka-goal kasi ng debt management is to simplify yung management ng payment mo and to eliminate and to make a action plan. Actually, ang debt management is an action plan on how you going to pay your debt, lower your interest rates. Especially sa nabanggit ni Jam kanina, kung marami ka ng card, iba-iba ang interest rates niyan. Kung napakarami mong card, mahirap din siya i-manage kasi iba-iba rin ang ang mga due date niya. So most likely, baka meron chance na hindi ka mabayaran na isang card doon, sigurado the following month, compounded na yung utang mo. Kailangan mo talaga ng debt management para nakikita mo lahat mo yung mga debts. So ano ang basic principles ng debt management? Actually, maraming principles na available ang debt management. Focus lang tayo sa pinaka-basic since actually itong kasi na to, anything that works for you, actually, na basta nababayaran mo yung mga utang mo is considered debt management. Sinimplify ko na lang yung debt management into five principles, which is change of mindset, check how much you owe, then create an action plan, formulate a budget, then last resort is as follows. So ano ba ang change management? Ano nga ba ang mindset? Ang mindset is actually a set of beliefs that shape how you make sense of the world and yourself. Ibig sabihin, actually, mindset is an attitude. So if you change your attitude, will actually dali mong ma-employ yung mga plans mo. Kung hindi ka magpapalit ng mindset mo, anong plans ang set mo, mahihirapan kang i-implement kasi yung mindset mo is yung dati pa rin na yung spending habit mo is hindi siya nagbago. So, kailangan mo siya mag-change ng mindset. So, when you change mindset, you have to change your mentality, spending mentality, and employee discipline. So always count before you spend. Sabi nga nila is think before you spend. Actually, you should count and think before you spend. Or count before you think, then before you spend. Hindi kasi kasi minsan kasi pag nag-iisip ka, minsan marami kang iniisip, pero hindi mo naiisip magkano yung laman talaga o magkano yung income na pumapasok sa'yo. Always keep in mind how much you have or how much funds available before you try to pull the trigger on buying certain item. So when you employ change management and debt management, you have to commit. So kailangan mag-commit na matanggal yung mga utang, then seek for God's guidance and wisdom to get you out of debt. Then habang nagbabayad ka ng utang, dapat magpigil ka rin ng pagdagdag pa ng additional utang para hindi na siya dumagdag pa dun sa debt to income ratio. So how much do you owe? Para malaman kung gaano kalaki talaga ang pinagkautangan mo, dapat mo siyang ilista. The best practice na lahat ng iniisip natin is sinusulat natin kasi mas natandaan natin kung sinusulat natin yung nasa isip natin. So when we are trying to determine how much really we owe, we have to list down or create an Excel file na lahat ng credit card, home loan, or any kind of loan, dapat nasa listahan mo siya. Kailangan mo sa talagang magbigay ng time na lista lahat siya para wala kang malimutan. So your list should have the name, total amount, interest rate, minimum payment, minimum payment due date, contact info ng mga lender. Tapos yung mga ano pa, kahit address siguro, ilagay mo dun eh, kung kinakailangan. Anything na related sa debt mo, ilagay mo sa listahan mo para at least kung babalikan mo yung kung ano mo, yung listahan mo, makikita mo na siya agad in one go. So create the action plan. There are actually yung action plan ng debt management is marami siya, and pwede mo siyang i-interchange and pwede mo rin siyang i-combine. So ito lang yung mga few samples ng action plans or debt payment methods. So first is avalanche debt method. So avalanche meaning if you see how the avalanche work, avalanche come from the highest point to the lowest point. So for this case, ang main objective mo is to pay off the debt with the highest interest rate. Since nagawa ka na ng listahan, nakita mo na ngayon sa listahan mo kung alin doon ang highest interest and then the lowest interest. Pag ginawa mo yung listahan mo, at least sana ililista mo doon enumerate mo yung debts mo doon, yung mga utang mo kung from the highest amount to the lowest or from either way. So for this case, avalanche siya because what you're going to do is you will focus on paying yung pinakamataas na interest first, then the rest is paying the minimum. Ibig sabihin yan, yung pinakamataas na interest, babayaran mo siya more than sa monthly minimum due niya. Pag gano'n ginawa mo, mas mabilis mong matanggal yung highest interest kasi liliit yung amount na babayaran mo. So once na matapos mo yung highest debt, iyan mo na siya. Sa second highest interest rate naman ang focus mo until you finish off with that cycle. So repeat mo lang yung cycle niya hanggang ma-pay off mo siya. Advantage ng debt avalanche is paying extra on the highest interest rates, you finish off your debt most expensive debt faster. Sabihin, makita mo yung progress mo a lot faster. Yung yung makasave ka rin ng interest kasi limit na interest mo, mabawasan na siya. Then mamomotivate ka kasi yung interest mo, yung utang mo is mabilis mababawasan. So another method is aside from debt management, meron na siyang kabaliktaran, which is the snowball method. Snowball method naman is magsisimula ka sa maliit papuntang palaki. Ang gagawin mo naman dito is yung babayaran mo ng above minimum monthly due, yung smallest debt, then the rest pay mo na siya ng minimum. So in this case naman, mabilis mong mababayaran yung maliit mong utang. But the downside naman ng method na to is may iwan yung pinakamataas mong interest na loan o debt, where mas malaki ang babayaran mo at end of the day. Kasi nga mas malaki yung interest na naiwan. Ang maganda lang dito is parang motivate ka rin kasi mas konti yung utang mo. Yun nga lang, magbabayad ka lang ng mas malaki sa interest. So pipili ka na lang dito kung alin yung mas sa'yo, kung mas profitable sa'yo, yung gusto mong mabawasan agad yung utang mo or gusto mong mabawasan naman yung babayaran mong interest. Another method naman is consolidated debt payment method. So mostly ginagamit itong debt consolidation sa credit card. So sa credit card if you have multiple credit card, then actually yung maraming credit card din kasi nag-offer ng yung credit transfer. So sa case ng credit transfer, kukuha ka ng isang card o kukuha ka ng bagong loan na i-consolidate niya lahat ng utang mo, then siya nang babayad nun, then ang babayaran mo na lang is yung isang lender na lang. So in this way, ang focus mo na lang ngayon na ano na lender is one debt lang. So isa na lang ang pinag-uutangan mo. So in this case, mas hindi ka na mahihirapan mag-monitor ng mga monthly, monthly due, yung mga monthly payment, tapos yung mga interest mo is hindi na siya iba-iba. So isang interest na lang ang babayaran mo. Actually, meron pang ibang mga credit transfer na mas mababa pa yung interest sa ibang card na meron ka. So, actually, maganda rin yung mostly kasi ginagamit to sa cards. Mas applicable sa cards. Meron din sa business to, pero ibang naman yun, parang na siya, credit structure. For this case, mag-ano lang tayo sa cards na lang since nasa credit card. And another method is control cash flow. So for this case naman, applicable siya sa mga tao na may extra funds or meron siyang surplus funds. Kung meron kang available na extra fund, you can increase your yung repayment frequency. So instead ng magbayad ka monthly, pwedeng magbayad ng twice a month kung kaya mo siyang kung meron kang extra payment. Pwede mo rin i-increase yung repayment amount mo. Or I think sa mga cards din actually pwede ka rin kahit sa card kung ang monthly due date mo is end of the month. Actually pwede ka naman magbayad ng the 15 of the midway of the month kasi tatanggapin din naman ng card. So basta yung parang basta magbabayad ka ng end of the month tapos yung mid of the month, ibig sabihin yan, yung by the time na mas mabilis mo mabawasan yung yung utang mo. So, yung effective use of lump sum naman, mostly ito ginagamit sa mga home loan o kaya minsan sa car loans. So, pwede mo rin siyang i-utilize. Mostly talaga itong control cash flow is for those na meron extra surplus amount of cash. So another concept of this debt management is kailangan magkaroon ng budget. Kung gagawa ka ng budget, actually na-discuss na to sa previous series natin with Pastor Lawrence. Pasadahan lang natin ng kung paano yung niya, yung dapat i-set. So set clear goals, assess your income, so prioritize elimination debt. So kung mag-formulate ka ng budget, dapat mo isipin, always consider kung yung needs, wants, yung para sa mga extra na expenses mo. Mostly ang pinakasikat na budgeting approach is yung 50-30-20. So 50-30-20 is 50% ng budget mo is mostly for needs. So needs yung housing, groceries, transport, bills, healthcare, car payment, mostly mga kailangan mo para then yung wants naman yung 30% mga kapunta dun sa travel tapos yung entertainment. Actually ito yung yung mga lifestyle. Ito yung mga lifestyle na expenses. Then 20% savings. So actually itong 50-30-20, meron pang iba na sinisimplify pa siya. So ang ibang naman is na ginagawa nilang 80-20 naman. So yung 20% directly punta sa bangko, tapos yung 80% yun na yung gagastusin mo para dun sa needs, sa savings, sa wants mo. So kahit alin diyan pwede mong gawin, depende sa capacity mo sa lifestyle. Kung kaya mo actually yung savings dapat habang lumalaki yung income mo o nadagdagan income mo, dapat yung savings mo nadagdagan din yan. Or yung wants mo binabawasan mo. Kung meron kang debt o meron kang pinagkautangan, mas maganda binabawas mo yung wants na yan, o gagawin mo na yung sasama mo sa 50% yung mga debt payments mo. So pwede mo siyang gawing 60, 20, 20 o kung hangga't kaya mo pang magbawasan yung wants, try mo magbawasan para at least mabawasan yung pagkakautang mo. Tapos yung savings mo, yung extra yung makukuha mong savings sa pagbabayad mo ng utang, ilipat mo naman sa savings. So, pwede mo siyang paglaruan sa budgeting. So, kung gumagawa ka ng budget mo, so kailangan mong alamin kung ano talaga yung income mo. So, how much do you earn, or ano talaga yung kaya mong bayaran sa income na meron ka. Kung kaya mong bawasan yung yung mga wants mo, ayun na kanina, or magdagdag ka ng income para tumaas yung yung debt to income ratio mo. So sa example natin yung sa unang example natin, nakita mo doon yung meron ka doon car loan, meron ka doon na credit card, then meron kang then yung ang income mo is 50,000. So kung alam mo na meron ka ng 50,000 lang ang utang mo, then actually sa mga expenses na yon, pwede mo nang tanggalin na o wag ka mo nang kumuha ng car loan para mabawasan mo muna yung debt to income ratio mo, or magkuha ka ng additional income para magkasya siya, pumasok siya sa within na 20% ng debt to income ratio mo. In case when everything fails, then kailangan mo na call a friend. When everything fails, unang siyempre mong lalapitan is yung pinakamalapit mo na is family, friends, o kung wala kang family or friends, di meron pa naman ibang mga ibang mga agencies na pwedeng tumulong sa atin, gaya ng DSWD, PCSO, o BPI for businesses. O pwede rin church. Pwede rin puntahan dapitan ng church. Pwede rin ng mga clubs, mga Rotary Club o So last resort na to. So ito yung pinakaiwasan natin na huwag tayo sa ganitong last resort. So ang pinaka-basic principle talaga ng debt management is dapat i-control your debt. Dapat talaga alam mo kung magkano yung kung ano yung meron ka, then just spend within your means lang. So yeah, each day pray before you borrow. So ask God for guidance. Then, as the Bible said, for which of you desire to build a tower does not first sit down and prosper, whether he has enough to complete it. So ito yung count before you spend.
Yan. Thank you, Aya Stephen. Just a few important reminders lang, no, in achieving financial freedom. Syempre, it grows out of an attitude of gratitude. So may we always have that attitude of gratitude, and the Lord naman always provides for us then. So iwasan natin yung over abusing yung pag-use ng credit card, and if yun nga kaya nating mag-borrow ng money, may we always have that discipline, and dapat responsible tayo in paying for it, and wag sobra-sobra. Yung two tenets natin kanina, we always have to live below our means and to spend wisely. So for our closing, we just want to give this verse from the Bible, Philippians 4:19, and my God will supply every need of yours according to his riches in glory in Christ Jesus. So may always be reminded of this. And once again, I am Stephen, and I would like to thank the Nest family for having us for the third series of the Art of Financial Freedom, Debt and Credit Card Management. So we thank you everyone for joining us tonight. Yun lang po. Maraming salamat. Thank you and God bless you.
So the floor is now open for Q&A. If you have questions about debt and credit card management, Feel free to share your questions sa Zoom chat, or again, if you want to stay anonymous, you can send your questions sa sa Google Form. Yan. Anyone may questions or may gustong i-share na thoughts, opinions, feel free lang po to speak. Or yung talk is very informative and detailed. So parang lahat napaisip, oo nga no, ano ba tong mga methods na to na na-discuss niyo ni Brother Stephen?
Yun.
Yan.
Thank you.
Ngayon ko lang narinig yung mga snowball method, avalanche method. May mga ganun pala.
Thank you for the visuals from mga images na we got from BuzzFeed. Nakalagay
Oo.
dyan, so credits to them. Pero talaga yan, we discussed first ni Aya, and then na lang. Maganda rin kasi yung visual type din, so everyone could
Yeah. Sabi ni
okay.
Brother Erwin, good info yung 20% debt ratio. Yes, agree. Agree din. Para sa mga may hilig mag-shopping pero hindi nagko-compute, mas malaki na pala yung inuutang mo kaysa sa income mo. Ay, may question si Stan and Tahira. Is it good to start a business with debt? Yan. Anong masasabi niyo, Brother Stephen and Sister Jam?
Si Aya muna, syempre.
Depende rin kasi yan kung ano yung anong business ang itatayo mo. So, kailangan gumawa ka muna ng business plan mo. So, before ka umutang, dapat meron kang business plan na naka-prepare. Then, alam mo kung saan kukunin yung ibabayad mo na 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 sa pinagkautangan mo. So, hindi ka kasi pwedeng basta umutang lang, then may naisip ka na agad yung buksan mong business, pero wala ka namang plano. So, importante na magkaroon ka muna ng business plan, or kahit simple business plan lang. Alam mo may mga yung SWOT mo, yung strength and weaknesses mo, yung market mo, yung yung environment mo. So once ma-determine mo na sure ka na, or sure ka na na kahit paano, or the least na sa hindi sa worst day ng ng sales mo is everyday may operate sales. So if in that case, okay kang mag-open ng business kung ng paggagamit ng ng loan, by loan. Pero kung wala kang plano or wala kang direksyon kung paano kukunin yung income mo, or sa tingin mo is kulang ka sa research, kasi kailangan kasi pagka mag-open ka ng business, kailangan naka-research ka eh. Research ka muna bago ka mag-open ng business. Minsan nga kahit nag-research ka, hindi pa rin siya, kulang pa rin. So habang tumatakbo yung business mo, dapat nagre-research ka pa rin continually yan. So hindi masama mangutang to open a business as long as you know or you have planned it properly.
Yun. I agree din naman kay Aya Stephen, but for me, sana last resort yung when you open a business, you borrow money, kasi ang hirap din nung mag-start ka pa lang tapos hindi parang unsure, like for example when the pandemic happened, yung situation masyadong ang hirap, tapos nag-loan ka, tapos nag-start ka ng business, tapos biglang nag-pandemic. So ang hirap din, and most likely yung banks, they need your 2 years parang ITR muna before they let you borrow money. So if talagang hindi lang kaya, yun, pwede natin gawin yung sinabi syempre ni Aya Stephen, talaga namang when you start a business, you have to have that passion, and also yung alam mong magwo-work out, meron ka ng mga feasibility study man lang, or research about it, and ano yung magiging market mo. And syempre, you have to work hard for it para nga syempre mabayaran mo yung kung nakapaghiram ka for an initial loan pag nag-start ka ng business. Pero marami din naman na if you want to start a business, marami din naman yung sa mga small business owners, if ever lang meron tayo dito, na kahit hindi ka labas ng pera ng puhunan, marami rin because we have this reselling or drop shippings, ganyan, lalo in e-commerce community. So, yun lang. Shinare ko lang yung ano din. If ever na talagang gusto mo mag-business at wala ka talagang pera pa, mas gugustuhin mong mag-borrow, siguro kung hindi talaga kaya, you can start with that kind of business, no? Mga reselling, dropshipping, online, kasi malakas na rin naman lately. Yun lang.
At saka
Okay.
kung magbabaro ka to open a business, better pray for it than
Yeah. True.
before going specific obligation niya, baka hindi ka makatulog niya pagka dating sa bayaran na. So, hindi siya actually marami rin kasi nangungutang kaya ng mga corporation, mostly corporation expansion yung puro utang yan. So, pag pero kung ano ka, ito yung startup ka pa lang. So, kailangan talaga yung ano mo talaga, yung research mo saka yung business plan mo isa talagang napag-aralan talaga bago ka mag-utang.
Okay, my next question po. Speaking of credit, what if a client want to pay in credit or installment?
Actually, ang pag wants to pay in credit, ibig sabihin isa yun ng utang. Kailangan mo muna mag-credit check ka muna sa kanya. Mamaya pwede naman siguro yan kung matagal mo na siyang customer o yung Pero kung bago lang, siyempre, hindi mo siya ibibigyan ng credit agad. Meron ka munang, kailangan mag-build muna siya ng history sa'yo bago ka magpapagbigay ng credit. So, I think ginagawa naman yan sa mga hardware. So, bago ka bigyan ng credit ng mga actual hardware, kailangan mo mag-form ng history na bago ka na nabigyan ng credit.
Okay, so meron pa bang question? Ako din i-add ko lang nung during your talk about credit card management. Napaisip ako, bakit nga yung ibang tao gusto nila ng credit cards? Parang atat magkaroon ng credit card. And then, I noticed kasi parang may nakuha mo na agad yung gusto mo without feeling na may nilabas kang pera. Ganin yung nagiging sakit usually. Parang sige, bili lang ako ng bili. Kasi nga, hindi ka pa naglalabas ng pera only to find out, nag-accumulate yung utang mo, mas dumadami na pala, mas lumalaki na siya. So yeah, it takes discipline nga in having credit cards din. Parang yung sa movie na Confessions of a Shopaholic, if you're aware. Ang dami niyang binibili to the point na talagang wala nang natira sa income niya. Yan. Sabi ni Pia, enjoy now, pay later ang principle ng credit card, hehe.
Yung advantage kasi niya is you use the money of the bank, 'di ba? Hindi yung money mo. So minsan nakakalimutan mo na parang nga no, hindi ko to pera, mas mataas pa sa income ko yung nasa swipe ko. So no talaga siya if you have a credit card or if you want to have one, ipag-pray mo din muna. Nung nag-usap kami ni Aya Stephen, it also boils down in praying and to ask God for guidance. Kasi kapag, for example, in borrowing, you have to ask them for guidance, 'di ba? And sa paggagamit mo rin naman din ng credit card, mahirap pag impulsive buyer ka, swipe ka lang ng swipe. Hindi mo na nadidiscipline yung sarili mo because you thought na that's yours. Yung sinabi ko nga sa closing nung first discussion, feeling natin we're rich and financially powerful when we have our credit cards. Pero mali yun, maling connotations ng mga Pinoy na ganun. Dapat hindi. Tingnan natin siya na ito, utang mo lang yan, nag-accumulate ng interest rates yan kapag hindi ka nagbayad. And sometimes, minsan yung credit card kasi ang bilis, so ang bilis lang din hiramin ng families. Kapag hindi mo rin natingnan, yung mga supplementary mo, sa'yo din magkakaroon ng effect. So, instead of maging parang beneficial yung credit card, magiging stressful lang yung gamit niya. So, we really need to be financially responsible on how to use it.
Yes, agree. Okay, so other more questions or insights na gustong mag-share before we proceed na to our last part of the session. Okay, mukhang lahat kami po napaisip sa inyong detailed talk. We appreciate naman your talk. Very informative talaga siya. Parang it's something na we don't usually hear every day or usually hear sa mga articles, sa Facebook kasi laging makikita mo nga na enjoy now. Parang YOLO. Tapos boom, malaki na pala yung nautang. Wala na palang naipon, di ba? Ayan, so kung wala ng questions or insights, I'll proceed na lang with the next session. Okay. Ay, may pahabol. May pahabol na nag-ask, pero anonymous. What are the biggest consequences if hindi nabayaran ng utang? Maybe you can name two consequences since wala na rin masyadong time. Ano sa palagay niyo, Brother Steve and Sister Jam? Kahit one each.
Estafa.
Yeah, true.
Consequence niya talaga hahabulin ka ng mga parang partner firms ng mga banks. To tell you honestly, walang nakukulong sa credit card, pero hahabulin ka talaga nila, and pangit yung magiging credit standing mo and credit score. Sorry, kasi before napapag-aralan namin siya, so we also talk about this. Kasi may mga nagtatanong din na, makukulong ba ako pag di ako nag-pay ng credit card? Or ilang years ba, ganyan-ganyan. Pero hahabulin ka talaga. And pangit na siya sa mga banks kasi hindi ka na makaka-apply talaga ng mga credit cards in the future. If ever you have emergencies, hindi ka na makapag-apply talaga ng loan. Ganun yung parang reputation mo na yung magiging consequence. Sabi
Actually,
ni Pia Blacklisted yan.
Yeah, actually, ang pinaka-worst na mangyayari sa'yo is yung you lose your credibility.
Yeah, also,
So,
yan.
wala nang maniniwala sa'yo. So, kung hindi mo mabayad ng utang is, wala nang maniniwala sa'yo. Hindi ka rin makaka-utang. Then, kahit siguro na pumunta, siguro lapitan mo, hindi ka rin maniniwala sa'yo. So, yun talaga yung, actually, yun talaga ang sa tingin ko yun yung worst effect kung hindi ka mabayad ng utang mo.
Yes, credibility talaga kasi meron kaming kapitbahay before na hindi naman sobrang lapit na kapitbahay, pero parang syempre yung mga chismis sa village nila is hindi nakapagbayad sa car naman. So ang experience nila is talagang hahanapin. So you will lose your credibility talaga kasi talagang pupuntahan ka ng lahat ng sa'yo.
Tsaka yung hassle din na meron tatawag sa'yo, weekly, everyday, para singilin ka. I think yun, parang dagdag stress siya sa iisipin mo. So better, magbayad ka na lang talaga ng utang.
Yes. And if nandun ka na sa situation talaga na nahirapan ka na, you use that 5 debt management tips na sinabi ni Haya kanina. May time pa, and we learn naman na from that experience. If ever nga nandun ka sa situation na yon, wag mo nang antayin na mapunta sa pinaka worst effect, as sabi nga ni Haya kanina, 'di ba? Yung ask for help nga parang worse na umabot ka na doon na nanghihingi ka na ng pambayad sa utang mo sa ibang tao. So, wag na nating hayaang mapunta doon.
Yes, true. Agree. Okay, so last call. If wala na, I will announce na lang our next session for this series. Yan. For the last and fourth session natin would be about investing properly. That would be on September 8 by Mr. Johnny Benjamin. So I hope that you could also come and join as we did tonight. And yeah, yun. Si Pastor Sherwin may i-announce rin ata.
Yes. So as you can see on the screen, the 412 Youth partnered with our NEF ministry, and we would like to invite everyone to visit our Spotify and look for the 412 Above podcast. This is one of the first series. As you can see on the screen, this is our interview with Aya Stanley Ong Cheng. The host is, of course, yours truly, and of course, si Sister Jessica as well. If you look for us, the 412 Abode, it would appear naman with this logo, yung violet. If not, then you can actually scan the QR code that you can find in your screen, or you can actually take a photo or screenshot of the current screen that you can see, so that you can visit our Spotify Spotify podcast and the video version in Facebook as well. So I'm sure there's a version, the video version is also uploaded in YouTube by the next ministry as well. So you can see on their screen, no, pag pumunta kayo sa Facebook page ng 412 Youth, you would see this sample, no, of the video. To know more about our ministry, visit 412youth.card, that is CARRD.co, and so that you would understand what is 412 Youth. If you know someone who is 15 years old and above, please invite them to join us as we launch or relaunch our ministry. So, in behalf of HOME, the House of Messiah Episcopal Church, we'd like to thank everyone for joining us tonight.